All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Berlin Ethereum Meetup in March. We have these meetups every month. Relaunched last year around October. And planning to do this every month. So hope to see you in the future as well. This is the first one since we restarted without Martin, so I'm a little bit sad. If you've been here at the meetups, you probably remember him. But he's been he relocated recently. He will be back sometimes, but yeah, he won't be here at every meetup, unfortunately. Okay, so just quickly the agenda today. We are I'm just going to go through some ecosystem and community updates, and then we have Pari from the ETH Panda Ops team talking about the straw map. This is the new updated Ethereum roadmap. You're probably familiar with the roadmap of Ethereum, and this is an updated one that's been published recently. And then we also have Rick also working with the foundation, talking about agentic commerce. And in the end, we will have some time for just open networking and community time. And thank you again for Gnosis for hosting us and sponsoring the event. And we have some drinks and some merch in the back, so feel free to grab some of those as well. Okay, I wanted to quickly mention again the Berlin Ethereum Community Hub. That's another initiative that we have. A lot of you probably already been participating at our co-working Wednesdays. It's happening at the Ethereum Foundation office here in Berlin, and you're all welcome to join. There is a quick application form. It's on every Wednesday from 10 to 6 p.m. and then from 6 to 8 p.m. usually just hang out, stay for some pizza, and just chat. So there is no agenda. It's just open co-working, collaboration, networking, and that's the main focus of it. So no strings attached. Just a few pictures of the vibes. We started this last year, so these are pictures from last fall. Some of you might maybe recognize yourself from the pictures. Yeah, pretty good vibes. And if you're interested, we already have an option for more permanent membership at the office. We have a couple of open seats, so if you're interested, feel free to come and find me after the talks and chat. Okay. A couple of things about the local events happening here in Berlin. The Berlin Blockchain Week is back, as always. I think it's one of the most exciting blockchain events of the year. Sorry. And yeah, it's this time again. It's going to be in June, from the 13th around the 21st. The biggest events are going to be around this time frame, but I'm sure there are more happening before and after. There will be more events. We are also probably organizing something, but it's not announced yet. But just stay tuned for more updates. You can scan the QR, and that's for the website, and you can see all the events that's happening. And again, much more will be probably added closer to the date. Okay, I also wanted to mention DevCon. It's going to India this year, to Mumbai. It's the biggest Ethereum community conference and developer conference of the year. That's the only event that is organized by the Ethereum Foundation. A lot of other events are organized by local grassroots communities, which is also very great. I usually personally encourage people to go to events that are nearby, at least in the same continent throughout the year, just because of the carbon footprint and other budget considerations. But this is the one that most of the community and the ecosystem is usually going to every year. So I recommend to go to this one. There are some opportunities, scholarship opportunities, maybe even some more open jobs. I'm not sure if they are still hiring, but the DevCon team was hiring. So you can take a look on this QR. There was an article about it with a bunch of resources. Okay, and I wanted to talk a little bit about topic I'm really excited about. This was not published last month at the last meetup, unfortunately, yet, but I think it's really cool. I don't know, some of you might have read. There was a blog post published by the Ethereum Foundation recently, along with the Ethereum Foundation mandate, which is mostly intended for the Ethereum Foundation itself, with the core values, why we are even doing this, why Ethereum was built in the first place. And it's intended again for the foundation, but it has a lot of good fundamentals about what is Ethereum, what its role, and what are the values that we don't want to compromise on, basically. So to me, after reading it, I'm obviously not going to go through the whole thing. That's not the purpose of this talk, but just kind of wanted to highlight a couple of things, and we're probably going to talk about this more on the coming meetups as well, but just highlight a couple of things that me personally, I find interesting or important to highlight. So after reading it, to me, it all comes down to freedom. What does freedom mean to you guys? In a few words, anyone wants to mention a word or a sentence or whatever?
Choice to do things.
A choice to do things.
Freedom to own your assets, even if somebody else doesn't try to prevent you from owning your assets.
Okay, so owning your own assets without being censored or prevented to do that. Anyone else? Yeah.
Maybe to be independent, so you don't have to depend on other people or systems.
Mm-hmm. Be independent and don't have to depend on other systems or people. Anyway.
We have this word which I think is very ugly, but I think it's self-sovereignty, which is a very ugly word. But I think it's nice because it kind of says that you don't have mama, papa, king, or somebody to rule over you. So.
Okay. Yeah, self-sovereignty. Yeah.
Definitely having privacy.
Privacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is hard.
Yeah, it's hard nowadays. Yeah, we are very too far gone, I think, in the facial recognition and all these kind of things. So yeah,
thinking, acting, or speaking without any external control.
Okay, speaking and acting without any external control. Anyone else? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think these are very important things and very fundamentals, of personal freedom and self-sovereignty. And this is something that the mandate is also highlighting. And it's starting with why Ethereum was built in the first place, right? So it's mentioning that what's missing from personal freedom is self-sovereign computation and the computational ability to coordinate at a scale without violating anyone's self-sovereignty, right? It all comes back to, you probably remember or familiar with Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, right? Like how the internet started with this very, ambitious, like decentralized system. You have freedom, everyone can do whatever they want. And then, Web 2 came and that dream, kind of faded away. And there are a lot of central entities now and corporations who are owning a lot of our data assets and so on. So it didn't really materialize that much, unfortunately. So that was one of the reasons why Ethereum was created. And of course, it comes with a lot of things that you guys also mentioned, that users should have control over their own computation, including data, assets, instructions, identities, agents, and also the right to exit from any systems that are not allowing you to do these things. Yeah, and then, so what is Ethereum? So Ethereum has been, referred to a lot of things. It's a blockchain, it's crypto, it's digital money, whatever. There is, I will actually have this slide, but it's also, the word computer. But I also like this, that the mandate is highlighting that it's a decentralized and resilient self-sovereignty tool, right? So it allows self-sovereign computation and also allows you to coordinate at scale. Because normally, before blockchains and Ethereum, you needed like a central entity, right, to coordinate because of trust and a lot of different things. Like, how are we going to coordinate on a global scale, without any tool or platform or infrastructure? Right, and then again, the word computer. So what is the word computer? The word computer, I like that picture when it says, like, Ethereum is a blockchain. Ethereum also has a virtual machine, so you can build applications on it, right? So it's not just a blockchain, not just a distributed ledger. And of course, it has the nodes that have a copy of it. But yeah, I like also this new aspect that it enables self-sovereignty for anyone to interact with it trustlessly, permissionlessly, and persistently. So this is basically the world computer, right? This is why it was created this is why it was created. So it comes down to like, what are the values that we do not want to compromise on at all costs, right? So first is censorship resistance, open source software, open source and free software. Free, it could be, it's like freedom, and then privacy and security, right? So there is this acronym, CROPS. So these are some of the most important values that we definitely want Ethereum to always stick with, and don't deviate from these, because, you know, if we have to compromise on these, then what's the point? There's also, you guys probably familiar with the decentralization trilemma, you know, with the stating that a blockchain cannot be at the same time fully decentralized, scalable, and secure. All of the existing blockchains have to compromise, sacrifice one of them for the other two, right? So Ethereum is trying to achieve all of them. So all of those, and of course, these are the other core values. Those are more like the technical aspects of the protocol, right? The infrastructure. And this is also, of course, technical somewhat, but also related more like to the values as well. Yeah, and then I think as I mentioned, in the next couple of meetups, we'll probably talk more about these, but I just kind of wanted to mention, I think privacy and a lot of these resonate a lot with the Berlin community, and we talked about these, especially privacy, on a lot of meetups before. There were sessions, there were roundtable discussions. We had the Web3 privacy people as guest speakers. So I think Berlin generally has a very strong favor and appetite for disruptive and decentralized tech, and a lot of these values resonate a lot with the Berlin community generally, which is great. Yeah, and this is the blog, the Ethereum Foundation's blog. So if you want to read more, there are always a lot of other technical and non-technical updates published by the Ethereum Foundation here, so you can keep up to date here. That's also the Twitter, which is, yeah, not very decentralized, but this is where you can get most of the updates, unfortunately, for now. Hopefully this will change soon, or in the future at some point. And then if you're looking for opportunities, there are a lot. This is just from ethereum.org. You can scan this QR. There are a lot of technical and non-technical jobs in the ecosystem. So this is from the whole ecosystem. So if you're looking for opportunities, scroll through here. Yeah, and then we almost uploaded all of the recordings from past meetups now, so they will be available at this the Ethereum Berlin YouTube channel. So you can also scan this to watch the recordings or send it to your friends. Yeah, and we also have a Twitter account. If you want to follow us, this is probably the best way to get up to date on next events and pictures and recordings. Okay. All right, and that's my part. And we will just continue with the talks. We won't take breaks, but if you need to go to the restroom or something, feel free to, but we will get done with the talks, and then there will be time to chit chat. Okay, thank you.